What we're going to be looking at today is a couple of key things around employment contracts, in particular written employment contracts. Obviously this can be a bit of a dry area, but I'm hoping that because you're all here you're slightly interested in contract law, and certainly Helen and I will try and make it as interesting as possible with some interesting examples. Basically we're going to be going through initially what are the reasons for having a written employment contract, including some key terms that should be included in written employment contracts. Then we're briefly going to be touching on what should not be included, which is obviously just as important as what should be included. I'll look briefly at independent contractors as well as outdated contracts and some of the problems around that. And then we will be doing a sort of summary, a couple of points of what are the key things that need to be in there and what should be avoided, just to really reinforce that for everyone. So to start off with, why have a written contract? Usually when people refer to employment contracts, they are actually talking about a written document. But what a contract actually boils down to is a number of different things in an employment law context. So this is not only the written contract, but also a verbal contract, as well as terms that are included in modern awards, as well as the national employment standards that most of you will be aware of. Policies, things like leave policies, work health and safety policies can sometimes be incorporated into contracts, and other written documents. So you might have other things like incentive schemes or variations that can also be included within a broader contract. Now, one of the things that we regularly talk to people about in terms of written contracts, and Helen and I will go through this in more detail throughout, but it's that really a written contract is your key document that you should be relying on, and it's a way that employers can sort of pull back some of the control and power in an employment relationship so that you're not left to the whims of what the modern award says, or what the Fair Work Act says, or maybe what your policies say, particularly if those policies are more aspirational. So now I'm just going to go through a couple of key terms. Obviously there's a lot of different things, but we've just plucked out a couple that hopefully are relevant to people here. The first one, set-off clauses. They're also known as annualised salaries or all-up provisions, so they have a few different names that they go by. Basically, if you want to pay an employee a salary only, that is, you don't want to pay them overtime for working hours above 38 hours, you don't want to pay them penalty rates if they're working late at night or perhaps on the weekends, you don't want to pay leave loading, usually 17.5%, all those additional things that are covered in awards. You need to have a particular clause that says that the employer will pay the employee an annualised salary in full satisfaction of all of these other required payments under the award. It's crucial that this annualised salary is obviously high enough and it's not sort of sitting at a minimal level where the employee would be disadvantaged. If that's the case, there could still be back pay claims that could be made by the employee. Also, this sort of clause can be used for people that are non-award covered. So, for example, some senior executives that may not be covered by an award, but they might be working in excess of 38 hours a week. You don't want to then turn around at termination time or perhaps 6 months down the track and they've got a back claim for working 60, 65 hours a week. So it's really crucial to have.